Hi, my name is Kojo.
My name's Edgar.
So today's another episode of the Hard Truth Podcast. We dropped our first episode like last week, and it
Uh,
was more about just what hard truth means, and a little bit just more about ourselves and what we're trying to do on this podcast, and why we're bringing you this podcast.
yeah, so basically for today, what we'll be getting into and what we'll be talking about is living for the world versus living for God. Cole, you want to start us off?
So basically, when it says living for God, it simply just means to live for the truth, and
Okay.
that just means God says He is the way, the truth, and the life. So when we hear truth, all of that means is something that we just believe and we know to be real.
Mm-hmm.
And God says that His word is the truth. So obviously, we know when you open the Bible, you know the stories, John, Matthew, Luke, whatever the case may be. There's multiple stories.
Yeah.
He's telling us that right there, that book is His truth. And if you ever need to review anything about yourself or know more about Him and how to live your life, go to that, because that right there is the way of life. That right there is to get closer to know yourself and also know Him and to live the best way possible.
Question. So as far as the truth, me being in the Bible, right? What relation does the truth correlate to the phrase the word?
The word,
Yeah, so you know how sometimes people refer the word as the Bible.
right?
So can you just dive deeper into that of like where is that coming from?
So the word is just the word is Him. So He says He is John in John chapter 1 verse 1, I believe. He says part of it. He says, "I am the Word." So that just means who He is. Obviously, we can't see Him.
Hmm.
He's not here. He's not in the flesh no more. So that's what He left behind. His word. His word is who exactly He is. So if you ever want to go and find out more about who God is and who Jesus Christ is, you go to the Bible. You go
Okay.
to those stories in the Bible. So that's just a little bit more of the correlation between those two, and that's where you get to learn more about Him, and not just about Him, but more about yourself. Because He also says that
Like
his
he would
well,
continue.
He also says that His life, that your life, is in Him, and He created you in His image. So the creator is like finding. It's like imagine, like your creator. You have to, like, if you want to know your life, and why not go to the person who created you,
Yeah.
the person who like knew your life before you knew it. So it's like that's more the correlation between God and the Word.
Yeah. Okay. Um there's something I wanted to share that I have,
What you wanted to share?
right? And just provide a better understanding of this. And it's John chapter 8 verse 12. I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in the darkness anymore because you'll have the light that leads to life.
So like kind of just how I just said, He is. There's light and then there's darkness.
Hmm.
There's God and then there's the devil.
Correct.
So basically, God is light, the devil is dark. And what did the end just say?
It says because you'll have the light that leads to life. Basically,
So
the light within him.
within Him, yeah.
Okay.
So He is the way to live. Like He is the best way to live, and He is, how would I say it? So He is good. So meaning when I say He is good, it just means why wouldn't you want to live the best way for you? Why wouldn't you want to follow somebody who created your world, created your life, and He created it for good? So why wouldn't you want to follow somebody's good instead of following somebody who is bad? So why would you want to walk in the way of the devil, basically, knowing
Hmm.
that who he is and his characteristics are? Why would you want to live in a world full of lies and live for somebody who literally just
Encourages that.
encourages that? Exactly.
Yeah.
Why
So
would you
like,
want to?
would one would say that God encourages good and positive behavior, and
Hmm.
then one can say that the devil encourages negative and bad behavior.
Exactly.
Okay.
They both have their own, however you want to call it, but just
Yeah.
one encourages good, one encourages bad. I mean, another way we was talking about it the other day, the word devil and the word good.
Oh yeah.
So it's like some of you may notice, but
Or
evil
God. God.
or God, yeah.
Yeah.
So evil comes from the word devil, and good comes from the word God. So it's like, who would you rather live for? Is basically what we're trying to break down a little bit more today, and
Yeah.
that's just basically more of the correlation between the two.
Don't forget. Don't forget. Devil. You could spell lie.
We was talking about the other day too. I'm
God.
not.
You could spell good. You know what I mean?
But yeah, nah, just living for him is just the best way. I mean, more in tune to like just the characteristics of him is just more
Mm.
faith, kindness, peace, forgiveness, and self control. These are all things that are within us that we just can't really that a lot of us are kind of blind to and unaware of. Um, we more tend to, as humans, as you know, we more tend to live in a full of anger and hate and unforgiveness. When somebody does something to us, our automatic reaction is what? To get mad, right?
Yeah.
We automatically want to fight you or attack you, or whatever the case may be. And God said just not to do that.
Yeah, like control your emotions in one sense.
Exactly.
Just like remain stoic.
Exactly. Just remain still and calm. Because me personally, I've seen what anger can get me, and anger is just full of the devil. That's all it is.
Yeah, just like that story I literally told you the other day. So basically, I'm just chilling. Like I think I'm on my way home, and then a random number calls me, and there's always them numbers that is asking for somebody else.
What,
No
the
business.
scam?
Yeah, the scam
likely?
call. Yeah. So the scam likely calls me and goes, "Yo, is this Sarah?" And I'm just like, "Nah, this is not Sarah." And then, but I kid you not, I never had a scam caller just try me. So he goes, "Nah, this is not Sarah." And I'm like, "Yo," like I hang up because I know if I was to continue that conversation, I would be putting energy into something that just doesn't need to be put
into.
Yeah, like at all.
And it's like things like that. Like you had a even though it's small, but like you had a choice. Yo, do I really react? Do I spaz on them, or do I hold back and just really not do nothing? And it's just like things like that. It's because it's just like it's yourself. Like you can control if you want to put out anger into the world or not, regardless of what anybody does to you. You don't have to. You don't have to. Because our flesh naturally wants to put out anger and put out hate and things like that.
Yeah.
But deep inside us, God, who's within us, He wants to put out love and peace and care. But like you had a choice, like, oh, I can really spaz on you, which would really do nothing for you at the end of the day because the call already happened.
It's like after that, it's just like what happened. Then I hang up. I just wasted an extra breath.
So it's like there's no really even need to do that. And but like we're more into that. It's more just because we were born in sin. Like we were born already in a world full of sin. And what I mean by that is just some of you guys may know the story of Adam and Eve, where Eve was tempted by the devil to eat the
apple,
the fruit off the tree. And what happened was he blinded the devil. Just basically went into her head, Eve's head, and blinded her from the truth that God already had told her. And that's what happens a lot of like times today. Like we know what's right to do, but our mind
will blind
us.
In one
sense. Exactly, because he just placed thoughts in our head on like what's really like what he wants you to do versus God wants you to do.
Yeah.
So it's like,
so for those who are trying to find a way to God, right? And may not know the proper steps to get there, or like put it this way, say they have an option of they hear the voice of the devil or they hear the voice of God. How would they know which voice is which?
That's what we'll talk a little about earlier about the word.
Okay.
If you want to know who he is, go to that.
Okay.
Because he says he is the truth, and he also said he is the word. So go to that, because that's the only way you're gonna know who he is. And also, if you want to know who the devil is, just look upon your life. Like, kind of really just look upon this world. Like, you'll see it. You'll see his hand in a lot of things in this world. You'll see his hand everywhere. Like, anxiety, worry. Like, think about the things that cause you anxiety. Think about the things we view that causes us also anxiety. Like, in terms of just shows we watch, people we see, the things we say, like the lack of self-control that we have. Like most of it, to be honest, a lot of it is the devil, but then most of it is really just our own like doing. Yeah. Especially like the self-control portion. Like I remember I was having a conversation with somebody. It was like, oh, I be mad anxious because of this and that. And then I know the person, so I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, well, I told him, I'm like, I mean, I know some of the things you do. Yeah. So it's like, you don't really like you may have some like not, it may be medical, the anxiety, some part, but I see most of the things you do and I'm like, most of that can cause you anxiety.
Yeah, like really you're not helping yourself.
You're not helping it either.
But you know one thing that helps though, I kid you not, I was like, I had an exam today. and it was an oral exam, so meaning that it's on the spot.
Right.
So you gotta like basically just know off the top of your dome whatever it is the case may be, and he's
Right.
gonna ask you a random question, the professor. So before the exam, I'm like in the office hours, like in the office basically just studying, right? And I'm just like, as the clock ticks down, because it starts at 12:30, and it was like 12:10, and then like out of nowhere, my body just started like, heart started beating.
What, like tense?
Yeah, like it was like an anxiety attack. It was like doom, 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 and I was low key getting shook. But then I was just like, I didn't spend a day and a half studying. Like I basically know all this.
Right.
Like ain't nothing for me to just trip about. So I go, man. You know what? Whatever happens, happens. I know God got me.
You know one thing he says about that?
Yeah.
Don't be anxious about nothing, but in everything like prayer and supplication.
Yeah. So I'm in there and I'm just like, I know God got me.
Yeah,
We'll be
just
alright.
like didn't know.
Yo, and I kid you not. You know how like you confident, but you a bit nervous.
Yeah, you could feel it.
It's like yeah, bro. So I can't make this up. So in order to pick the question, you gotta roll a dice.
Well, you gotta roll a dice to pick the question.
Yeah. So
What class is this?
Economics. So basically, it's a random question from 1 through 6. You roll the dice, and that will select the question that you get.
Right.
And I'm still anxious, and I'm still like, I got anxiety because I don't know what I'm gonna pick. I was like, yo, watch me pick something I just don't know.
Right.
Off of the first spin, I get 4, and then I get a question I knew perfectly. And then I was just like, oh yeah, we're good.
Oh, see,
you know what I mean?
He was watching over you.
Exactly.
He was making sure you got that answer right.
For sure.
But it's like things like that. There's no need to be anxious, especially if you're prepared, or especially if you talk to him. He says, "If you ask and you shall receive." So it's like,
yeah, and
there's a lot of.
If you go seek, you'll receive.
Yeah. So it's like that's what he says by he is the truth. So it's like, but I mean that's what he says by he is the truth. If you ask, you will receive. I mean, there's definitely examples in our life where like we ask and we have received, especially when it comes to like hard truths, our brand, like just some of it right here that we showed you the other day. But one thing I know we both ask for is growth in our brand
every day.
So I mean, whether that be followers or influencers or just knowledge, we definitely can say that we have grown every single day, especially in that aspect. And that's literally because we've asked him and he received.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention though, I heard this, right? And I'll dive a little bit deeper into it. And it goes, be careful what you're asking for because there's 2 people on the end of that call.
What does that mean?
So in one sense, it's just like be mindful, and if you're asking for something, make sure you ask for it in the name of God, because if not, you'll receive it through the devil's ways.
I ain't never heard that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
And it's like basically, be careful of what you say and be careful of what you ask on that phone because there's 2 people listening to that call.
See, that thing what you just said, be careful about what you say. That's another thing. He also says life and death is in the power of the tongue. I may have said that wrong. I'm not entirely sure, but basically
along the line.
So all I know, think about the things that you say. Like a lot of times our mouth is crazy. Like we'll say things, oh, I want to kill myself, or oh, I want to shoot him. I want to hate. Like, bro, do you understand? Like subconsciously, when you say things, you're hearing that back yourself.
Yeah, like
like that's crazy. Like you're hearing what you're saying back at yourself, and like
what you say holds weight.
So it's like, for example, I know when I was younger, when I played basketball or sports or whatever the case, if somebody says something to me, it resonated with me, and the way that they said it to me resonated with me to where like I couldn't perform at a level that I want to do it.
So, yeah, what you mean?
That's what I'm saying. So like, yeah, but I definitely was a little mentally weak back then. But I'm just saying like, their words had an impact on me to where now it's affecting my ability to like do something. So it's like, if imagine like you go out here, you see somebody who's like a little overweight, now you just screaming at them, yo, you're mad fat. How they gonna feel? They're already like I'm saying, they're gonna look at themselves just like mad big and just ugly and whatever the case may be. But it's like we don't even understand that because we just say so much reckless stuff that we don't understand how heavy like our words like are, like how powerful our words are. Like obviously some of you've gotten mad because of what words somebody has spoken to you. Like I know you personally and me personally, like somebody say something to us, like imagine words can make you feel a certain way. Like
that's really can.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'd say Be mindful of what you say. Be cautious of what you say. And I mean, knowing that words hold weight, use it to your advantage. Like that's what I would do.
That's good. Yeah, use it to like
Be like, I am
uplift.
good. Like I am the best. Like I'm good. Like I know I can improve. Like just use words of affirmation to help build yourself.
I remember I started doing that when I first started getting closer with God. I would use like mad words of affirmation to kind of like boost myself up and like
Low key, it works
it
though.
works.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like, yo, I got this. Like I was saying that before my exam. I was like, yo, I got this. I got this.
cause yeah, like think about your
Cause I
like you know what I'm
do.
saying. Like think about your thoughts. Like
Yeah.
imagine you tell yourself every day, "Oh, I got this. I can do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." You're literally gonna start to believe it because you're hearing it. Like your mind. That's what your mind gonna speak to you. It's because you're hearing yourself say that, which is like it's powerful. How that's why he says it. That's what he says. It's the truth. Like
Mhm.
power is in life and death is in the power of the tongue. Like it's really like it's the truth. Like just think about the things that you
Puffins
say
crazy.
and watch what you say, and you might as well use it to your benefit. If it's the truth, you might as well use it to the benefit in a positive manner.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't see why you would want to use it in a negative way.
Exactly. Like if you know words hold weight, just do things that you know what I mean.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's also a negative side to it too, which is more
Yeah. Be mindful of what you do that, because what you sow is what you reap.
also yeah. That's also another. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys obviously seen like certain things that I mean, for me personally, there's things I've done where there's consequences. I mean, you could even be like just how we're doing this podcast right now, talking to you guys. Like, we had to go set up a podcast and put a phone there, and because of that, now we're creating a podcast.
Yeah.
So you sow what you reap. You put in what you get out. We
Literally.
designed pants. What came out? Some
Man.
pants. We designed a sweater. What came out? A sweater. So it's really like
Now that's
even.
unreleased.
Oh yeah, but they don't know that. It don't really matter. But anyways, but it's just things like that. It's like you really sow what you reap, and you can also
Yeah.
sow bad stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like
Definitely.
it really just depends.
When you sowing for bad stuff, right? Could one say that one is living for the world?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's literally because the
Like that would
devil.
be a prime example of
That's a
that.
prime example of living for the world. The devil wants you to believe that the truth is a lie. He wants you to believe that everything that he's saying is true is not real. He wants you to make sure that you're planting bad seeds in your
Hmm.
life. Like he does not want you to understand the amount of control, power, faith, kindness, love, peace that you have within you that you really can just spread out into the world,
Yeah.
like realistically. But our flesh is strong, and that's just something that we have to overcome. But that's literally just going to Him and going to the truth.
Okay.
So it's really just about if you go to Him, the more and more your flesh will just break off. And I've seen it evident in my own life. I haven't the amount of self control I have over now versus think
Back
about it. We've
then.
literally started a brand and a podcast. We go to the gym every day, like you know what I'm saying, school, whatever the case may be, work.
Yeah.
That's discipline. And without we could not have started this without him in our lives. That's just not possible. Think about it,
Def
like
wouldn't.
you know what I'm saying. Like
Def
it
wouldn't.
just don't make sense because it's mind you the way we because before we started is the way we was living before.
Right.
It's not even possible for us to even have this without some force, like just
You gotta remove something in order to gain
to gain
something.
something. Exactly. Like there's he also talked about like there's not room for everything in like
Hmm.
there just has to be made room for a lot of things. Like me personally, I'm not in school no more just because I was asking him at a time to take everything away from me that I no longer needed.
Hmm.
And when I came to him with that, like how you just said, be careful what you wish for, whatever the case may be, he took me out of school, and I was happy because I needed to get out of that environment because I was just falling back into ways full of sin and ways of the world, and that just was like the ways of the world for me at that time. What I was really just doing was just partying, drinking, sex before marriage again, and just things like that. And once you do that, it kind of just brings you a little bit further away from God, and that is more like living for the world. And one
Hmm.
thing he says is, you can't serve two masters. You can't love the world but then love the Father. And so
Okay.
what I was doing, you know what I'm saying? Like so what I was doing, I was living for the world, and I couldn't even like really go to him no more. I didn't even really want to.
It was like what we talked about the other day, kind of like lukewarm.
Lukewarm, yeah. A
Yeah.
lukewarm Christian is basically just somebody who kind of plays on both sides of the fence. Kind of like, all right, one day I'll do this, one day I'll
Hmm.
do that, and it's like that's what was just kind of happening more to me at the time, and it's naturally just because I just kept going
Hmm.
to I was just partaking in the devil's ways, And he was probably just having a smile on his face, like, oh, I got him back. But God was like, nah, you don't. And like once I kept praying to him, he just took me back out in the environment, and just we've been able to like kind of rekindle our relationship, and just me being able to like, because he never left me or forsake me, but it was just hard for me to go to him because it's just like,
It's like we had this conversation the other day. It's like you gotta meet him halfway.
yeah,
So it's just like, alright, you say remove everything. It's like, alright, like I might remove everything, but it's like you gotta meet me halfway.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
I ain't gonna give it up.
Yeah,
Like matter of
like
fact,
you
you know,
know
it's
what
a
I
good
mean.
example. So like right. So also he's also considered our father, right? So you know when your real father, right? He
Yeah,
disciplines you, right?
yeah.
So he'll discipline you, but you're mad at your father for disciplining you
Hmm.
when you're younger. So you're mad at your father for showing you
Discipline.
a better way of life.
Yeah,
But we don't even realize like when we're young, that's why we're
yeah,
really mad because we know the truth now.
yeah. Like you don't know no better.
You don't know no better. And it's like even at this age we be mad because like he also says don't I might butcher the line or the verse, but it basically just means don't don't be mad at the Lord for disciplining you or chastising you. So just
Hmm.
don't be mad at him from teaching you a better way of life, because all he's really trying to do at the end of the day is get you out of the world we live in.
Hmm.
And one thing also about that I do want to say is we're not separate from we are separate from, we all should strive to be separate from the devil, but at the end of the day the people of this world who do live for the world, he still wants us to be in unity with them,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day we're both not perfect, and we both will make the same mistakes over and over again. But that's what he says, because it's like it's we still are united at the end of the day. There's no like separate. There's no like
What's the phrase? Love everyone as if die your neighbor.
yeah. So basically, he
Sound like that.
so love the one of his one of his commandments is so basically you have no other gods before him. But he also says, like how you said, love thy neighbor like you love yourself. So Jesus came here, and he loved us more than he loved himself. He
Hmm.
died for us. God died. God sent his son to die for us. So he loved us more than he even loved his
Right.
son. So he basically tells us to also love him, but
Hmm.
also he said that the second command was love others as you would love yourself. No commandment is greater than that. And it's simply because if you're living for God, you're doing his ways. And his way was to love us more than he loved anything else, for sacrifice for us. So we have to also do the same for other
Hmm.
people, sacrifice for other people, whatever
Right.
the case may be, whether if it's helping them, seeing somebody on the street who's poor, just give them $1, whatever the case may be. So you see somebody in need at work, helping them with their needs, whatever the case may be, or
Hmm.
I don't know, say if you need help with a design, I'll help you. I need help with an edit, I need help with a design, vice versa. We just go help each other, and boom, 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 and then we just get it done. And it's really just stepping out of your selfishness.
Okay.
And that's also a whole nother thing. That's also why we struggle to help others, and that's why also why this world. So that's also being a part of the world is just our pride and selfishness. I don't know about you, but that's something I've always struggled with, selfishness and pride. But like, I don't know.
I get what you mean. So, what would you say? I mean, we kind of dabbled upon like living for God and then living for the world. What would you say to those who, um, what was I gonna say? Hold on, give me a second. Can we wrote it down?
Like, what would you choose, right?
Was it that? I bet. So I guess the question I had was basically just like, what would you say, or what would be the reasoning or understanding on why someone chooses to live for the world rather than God?
I mean, since we were born in sin, it's just easier to live for the devil. It's easier to
Like more comfortable?
it's more comfortable because it's hard.
Okay.
All right, it's hard to be. If I say some crazy stuff to you, right?
Yeah.
Like just some reckless. What's your first initial reaction gonna be to me?
To do it back?
To do it back.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's comfortable, right?
Yeah.
It's harder for you to be the bigger person and be like, "Oh, Kojo, why would you do that?" Or be like, "Kojo, I don't appreciate that. I don't think you should have
Yeah.
done that." It's just, it's uncomfortable to our flesh.
Okay.
It's just too uncomfortable to our flesh to live for God. And one thing we just have to understand is His Spirit is within all of us. Once we get that through our hands and we can kind of comprehend that, Once we are saved and we know the truth and we declare him as our savior, we would now in tune listen more into him and just read his word and listen to what he has to say versus what the devil has to say. Because the devil would tell us, all right, I smack you, now you smack me back. What would the world say? What would the world call you if you don't smack the person back?
Bigger person.
No. Like the world would say, like
if the world has said, oh, okay,
like
you're whack, like
you're
you're
whack,
scared.
you're scared. Like that's what it would really say. Like, and then if you don't act in a manner, or say it's sex before marriage for another thing. If you're not having sex at our age before marriage, the world calls you, oh, you getting no this or that.
Yeah.
Or the world would say, oh,
Why you scared?
Why you scared, or whatever the case. Or if it would be like, you don't smoke, you don't drink, they'd be like, oh, you're weird. You don't want to go to this party? Oh, you're weird. You're weird. Why don't you want to do this? Why don't you want to do that?
Scared.
You're not fun no more. Like I used to have people look at me like, you're not fun no more.
Nah, somebody said that. It's crazy.
He's like, you're not, bro. Like you're not fun no more. I'm like, what you mean? I'm not fun. Like hurting my lungs. Like
I gotta get high and get drunk to have fun.
But the thing is, I'm not gonna look at you and judge you. Be like,
yeah, somebody does that. That's you.
That's you, and then that's fine with that because I used to do it. So I'm not gonna look upon you like you're less than me because you don't do it because you still do it. It's like I know why you do it, just the same way I used to do it. So they ain't no like.
I'd say the problem would be if someone looks at that as a way to have fun and a way to enjoy things. Like if it's a controlled thing, like you need it.
It's definitely not good. It's just not gonna judge you for it. Yeah. So it's just those are more ways of the world. It's just like, cause now it's like you're literally just proving like the devil's not even gonna harp on people who are doing mostly that, just because it's like what was I about to say?
You low-key just messed yourself up if you just doing that. You know what I'm saying? As far as like God and the devil, like the devil don't got time for nobody that can't control their emotions. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he's not gonna pay attention to you because you're literally living for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's once you break out of that,
then it's like, oh, I gotta keep an eye on him.
I gotta keep an eye on him. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's acting good. Oh, I can't have that happen.
Oh, he's back on his grind. I gotta watch out.
Exactly. That's why once you get closer to God, you'll start to feel so much spiritual warfare, like just so much. I remember like when I first started getting close to him. I'm not gonna say a lot, but it's just more of just. Remember I told you like a situation too. Like once I first got close to him, he started like messing with my head and just these nasty thoughts that I was like, bro, what? And it was just I was having conversations with people, and then they were just telling me, yeah, the first place Satan loves to attack is the mind. He just loves to attack it because the mind is like it's really like a battlefield in your mind, and if he can get control of your mind, he can get control of your heart and your actions and allow you to do certain things that you really would have. Yeah, I have my whole shoes out, but I don't think they can see my feet. But anyway, but like they would basically he tries to get inside of your head because once he gets inside of your head, you gotta understand to watch your thoughts. That you can really be the watch of your thoughts and not really connected to. But yeah, just you gotta be careful, really careful for his lies, because like a liar, like he'll get inside your head.
One thing that I remember that we talked about is saying that you have to endure suffering in order to grow. So one thing I wrote down was basically just like if you're in a negative space, you can't expect positive thoughts. Like if you're in a negative space, you can expect positive thoughts.
If you're in a negative space, you can expect positive
thoughts? Yeah, you can't expect to just like put it this way. If I'm like, damn, like I just lost my V, like I just lost my car, and it's like you can't just look at it as like you can't expect to push out positive thoughts. So if I lost my car, you can't look at it as like nah, how would I say that? Nah, but I ready. So I basically said that like you gotta endure suffering in order to grow. And then I go on to say that if you're in a negative space, you can't push out you can't push out positive thoughts automatically. And what I mean by that is like if someone's in a difficult state of mind, or it's difficult to like, I put it this way, have you ever been in a position of wanting better, wanting to do better, but finding yourself? So basically it's just like I write down and saying difficulty that some people face as well as myself is wanting better and knowing that you can do better, but actively not knowing the steps needed to find it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those listening and feel like they can't escape a darkness or an understanding, or you have to understand that that's just an example of you just limiting yourself.
Yeah, I'd say look at what's really happening in terms of that darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just look at it. Oh, it's dark. Just but what's happening.
Yeah.
Like how I can go further to say. So basically, I got suspended from school. I may get into it why another time, but basically, I chose to look at it and look at it like, all right, bet I'm out of school. What am I gonna do? Da da da. I'm like, all right, bet. Now I got more time to focus on hard truths. Now I can figure out what I really want to do, and now I'm not in an environment no more where I'm really just living back into my old ways, back into bondage. And basically, what I mean by that is, like I said earlier, once I got back into school in that environment, I started sinning again, like just living for the world. But once I got suspended from school, I'm now not tempted so much by all that stuff. I'm not so much like tempted by. I'm not so much tempted all by that stuff anymore, and that's more of just instead of looking like at a bad thing, like I decided to take that bad thing and look in the good within it, and it led me to just, and we even just started a podcast now too, from that. And once I was in school too, my mind was so cluttered with just a whole bunch of nonsense that don't matter really, and I shouldn't have been doing in the first place. So like,
I got a perfect example because I'm one to vouch for it. The moment school is over with, how many students are excited?
math students.
Exactly.
Everybody, right?
You know what I mean? I can't name one person that when school's done with, they're not excited. I was walking to my car. I was walking to my car today, and I seen a few graduates. They were in their gown or whatever, and they were geeked. They were geeked because they knew it was over. They knew that they were done with it. But touching back on what we said, what I would suggest to those in the season of darkness is to accept God, right? And the reason I say that is to let Him into your life, because when doing so, He will wash you a new you, right?
That's a fact.
And what you don't what you need to know is that you don't need to be perfect, right? So understanding that He wants you to go to Him because He wants better for you is all that you need to know.
Right.
That's it.
So basically, I mean, I can harp further into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So basically, yo, they don't be seeing the cameras.
I don't know.
But
yeah,
anyways,
it's very, very like the view is not even that good. It's calm. It's
I'm gonna
not.
leave that one in there. I think I'm gonna just leave that one in. But anyways, so basically, back to what Edgar was saying. So it was just more of what you were just talking about, how
basically accept God whenever you're in a time of darkness, because He will shape.
you.
He will wash you and make you a new person.
So basically, I got into my relationship with Christ a year ago, and beforehand, I was just living in a world full of sin. Just think about any sin possible, just
like the airplane mode that we was talking
airplane
about.
mode. Just I'm here living for the world, the devil, because we was all naturally born in that. So I had no knowledge of who God was. So, anyways, I got into a situation where me and my ex, whatever, we got into this argument one day, just bad argument, and basically what ended up happening was I got arrested for it. Now, during it, like beforehand, I never treated her in a good way. Just emotionally, I was never there for her. Like nothing crazy in terms of violence, like physical violence. Just it was just always emotional, just terrible on my end. Never really called her out on her name or anything like that, but it was just I just wasn't there.
Like a carelessness,
like like you call it like a carelessness, just like I don't really care about you. I really don't care about what you got to say, what you're doing. You really don't matter. It's my world. Like I'm the one who like really, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's my world. You just
living in it. Basically, that's what it was. So eventually, what happened was that caught up to me, and I got arrested for that. And because we had that little argument, nothing. It was just things was thrown, things was said, and whatever the case may be. Anyways, after that, God saw where I was at in my life.
Yeah.
And like how you just said, He basically just washed me a new me.
Yeah.
He basically just allowed me to learn more of who He is. And during this process, when we also started Hard Truths as well,
Sir.
And the truth, as you know, is him. So he just, from that point on, he just revealed to me more and more who he is and a little bit more about him and his character. And he revealed to me everything about myself that was just devilish and evil
Yeah.
ways. But then he revealed to me who I could be through him. Well, not who I could be. He didn't reveal to me my whole potential, but he just revealed to me
He
more and
showed you
more.
a piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. He literally just showed me like a piece of the puzzle, and he continuously shows us all the time pieces of the puzzle if we go to him. And
He's
if we
like,
live
yo,
by
if you
him.
come to me and you applied yourself, look at the possibilities
Look
that
at
can happen.
exactly.
And it's like, boom, hard truth. It's like, oh shit.
Exactly. Like he
What you
just
mean
gave
hard
us.
truth?
That's what I'm saying. Like he just gave us certain things to really just align our lives with him, and it's just like doing this podcast in the brand. It's just more of living in his way instead of living for the world. So kind of just how Edgar was talking about how our sufferings, it really just produces a character, a better character for ourselves. It's taking the bad, but then seeing really what good came out of it. Because without that, I always tell people, whoever asks me about that, I always be like, that's the best situation that ever happened in my life. Because I'll still be living for the world. I'll still just be living for the devil. But
Yeah,
without,
hard truth would have never been a thing.
yeah, so it's like, well, we made it beforehand.
But like, you know what I mean, though.
But yeah.
Like, we would have taken it a lot for granted.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have
Like, I guarantee you, we probably still would have never dropped.
yeah, we would have took it as, because that's also part of like our whys a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But I know for me personally, that situation just why if I don't feel like doing something, I'll look back, I'll just be like, damn, like I remember how I treated so and so person, so I was like, I can't even like slack on this, or like, because this is really a gift. And that's so, like, even doing this, the knowledge that he's presented us with is a gift, so we have to give it back. Just like how he gave us, we give as well. So it's like, it's more of, that's just more of just in line of trying to live for his way instead of living for the devil way, and just continuously able to do that. And yeah,
Yo,
yeah. Now the beats is out today, bro.
nah, that's not even a B, bro.
What was it?
I swear that was a big ass fly. I don't know. But I mean, I guess let's just a summary of basically kind of like the things that we touched upon.
Yeah.
Living for God, living for the world.
It's really up to you.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really up to you how you want to live. I mean, it's really, do you want to live a good life or do you want to live a
scary life?
Scary life.
Yeah.
It's really up to you. I mean, one way is, it's scary, but it's truth. But it's good truth. It's scary just because you don't know where you're gonna end up. The other way, you're making your own decisions, but you don't know. But he literally tells you he knows your path. Like he created you. He predestined your life. Put
it this way: if you follow one direction, you know it's the better direction for you, and it can only help you, not hurt you.
Exactly.
The other direction, you don't know where you're going, but one thing is certain: it won't help you.
It won't help you. That exactly. That's the best way. I can put it the best way.
You know what I mean?
The best way possible. So I mean, look, I hope you just look upon this podcast, take out any information that can help you. Comment down below more information that you can help us with, so we can get our grow further in our relationship with Christ.
Yes,
I just want to say thank you for tuning in and
appreciate it. Much love.